Happy Fragrant Friday, Fraghead. Hey everybody, this is Ben here at That Cologne Guy, coming at you with the new, top 10 list. Indeed, subscriber demanded and requested, actually. Before I dive in on the content, let me just quickly say, yet again, since last Friday, we have had an absolute avalanche of new subscribers, and I really, really appreciate all of your support. So bottom line is, I have a 5-spray rating system for each individual fragrance review that I do, and the number that I give out of 5, I actually put that number of sprays on myself. So if you are new to the channel, make sure you head on over to the channel trailer. And check out more about my channel. I am not an infomercial. I give strict reviews. We have very high standards here at TCG because, unfortunately, I am not sponsored, and so I have to purchase my own fragrances. So we really, really have to get persnickety. And be honest, you like it when you hear the word persnickety. Be honest. So before we dive in on the episode, I also wanted to say, make sure you turn on your notifications for this channel. That way, every single Friday when the new episode pops, you will be notified, especially if you're on your phone, by the way, make sure that you turn on notifications for that. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Really appreciate, again, all of the support. New content every Friday, as I said. And if you like the content, make sure you pass it along to your fellow frag heads. All right, so let's dive in, shall we? I am super excited about this. As usual, I did way, way, way too much research for a top 10, but I enjoyed every nanosecond. So subscriber Val reached out and requested autumn spices as a top 10 list. So what I did was I first researched the top 10 spices, and I'm happy to report that I have, of course, a top 10 list with an honorable mention. So I found the spices, the 11 spices I'm going to go with. After that, I have 2 for each one. One is an honorable mention. And then, of course, one is my pick. And, of course, there are a few ties, etc., etc. It's incredibly difficult just to offer one sometimes. All right, so to start us off with the honorable mention category is none other than pumpkin. Yep, it had to be on this list at some point, correct? So pumpkin is the honorable mention, and I have 2 for you. The honorable mention is Fabulous Me by Paco Rabanne, and I have to tell you, if you like it, that one is a unisex fragrance, by the way, and if you are looking for a hipster standout from the crowd pick, it has pumpkin, rhubarb, and sandalwood. Let me repeat that again. Pumpkin, rhubarb, and sandalwood. Quite linear, very unique, admittedly hit or miss. I like it. I find it whimsical. I also find it hipster. I feel like I'm going to wear it and then go to an art museum, a modern art museum in Helsinki, Finland, and look at the homage to the napkin like I did when I went there. Right, and it was a napkin in a frame, and that was called Homage to the Napkin. So I feel like I would be wearing that fragrance to that one, but of course we had to include a unisex. And then my actual pick is Tilda Swinton, Like This, and I'll try the house. It's État Libre d'Orange, and I will make sure it's here in post. But that one also is another one that. So this is a woman's perfume, and I do admit, you guys know that I have some women's perfume in my collection. I would absolutely wear women's perfume if I like it. I will wear anything if I like it. I do admit it is a little too feminine for me. I don't think I can pull this off, but I do like this one. This one is I see this as the autumn bath bomb. This is the bath bomb that you would want to have in your house. It's cozy and has a very bath bomb feel to it. Perfect for this time of year. Perfect for a stocking stuffer. Okay, so for those of you who are watching and are relatives, that could be a clue. All right, so we're going to dive in now with number 10. And by the way, when it comes to these notes, number 10 isn't, least associated with autumn, and number 1 is the most. There's no order here. These are just notes that are associated with autumn. And again, thank you, Val, for reaching out and suggesting this episode. This is so much fun. So number 10 is vanilla. Now, I actually have kind of a love-hate relationship with vanilla. It's not one of my favorite notes. This was very difficult for me because, of course, you're expecting Le Male. You are. I like Le Male. I don't love Le Male, but when you think vanilla, you have to pay homage and tip your cap to Jean-Paul Gaultier and Le Male, and of course the famous bottle. So I had a very difficult time not including that, but you guys, all 73 of you watch this episode because you demand authenticity, and I deliver. So my honorable mention for that one is Cardamom. If you watch the channel, I'm a huge fan of this one. Absolutely love it. I'm including it as my honorable mention really only because it's not incredibly versatile in the sense that it is associated with 40 and up. And then for my actual pick for vanilla, this one might throw you for a loop. This one flies under the radar, and it shouldn't. This one is underrated, just as the perfumer is, which of course is Natalie Lorson. And so one of my favorite, as you know. This one is Pure Black by Mandarina Duck. Fantastic fragrance. Love the vanilla here, but I really just love the overall fragrance. You probably were not expecting that. You were probably thinking it was going to be more of the Le Male route. I like this one, and I have an extra special soft spot for it because it does fly under the radar, and it's certainly underrated. It's a cheapie, fantastic. It's typical Natalie Lorson, right? It's inexpensive and very, very well done. They could put a much higher price tag on that one, and it would sell. So Pure Black by Mandarina Duck. All right, so for number 9, I have Star Anise, and I've also heard people say Star Anise. So for Star Anise, I actually do not have an honorable mention or a winner. I have a tie. They are so close. I almost had to flip a coin. I even have a flip a coin app, okay? And I just could not decide. I cannot honestly say one is better than the other one. I absolutely love both of these fragrances. You should too. Coming in tied as the champion has to be Lidge, L'Instant Dégalant Extrême, otherwise known as Lidge. No, not Brad Lidge, not the pitcher who used to play for the Houston Astros, but Lidge, the acronym for L'Instant Dégalant Extrême. Lidge, affectionately called in the frag community. So I just couldn't call that an honorable mention because it's a fantastic one. So it's tied with Lolita Lempica Eau Masculin Intense, which is the Eau de Parfum. You guys know that I had been looking for that one for a long time. I finally got it. That one is the epitome of black jelly beans. Love that one. And I do not at all like black jelly beans, but I love the scent. I love the fragrance. Sad it's discontinued. If you see it at a reasonable price, you really should grab that one because it's just opulent. Okay, so for number 8, I have Apple Pie, or simply Apple. And for my honorable mention, I have another cheapie that I have a very soft spot for. It always ends up in my top 10 episodes, as well it should for you if you do reviews, which is Nautica Voyage, another fragrance, by the way, that could easily be $100, $200, $150, we'll say, dollars, and people would still purchase this one. Nautica Voyage is a positively wonderful gift. I can't see anyone disliking it. It's fresh. It's just a wonderful fragrance, and I love the apple note in that one. Honorable mention for Nautica Voyage. And then my winner is Boss Bottled Intense or Boss Bottled, whichever one you want to go with, the 90s one or the most updated. I have more familiarity, obviously, with the original Boss Bottled, but Boss Bottled Intense also would be great as far as the apple note. So this one is the one that I associate when I hear apple. I always think of Hugo Boss and specifically Boss Bottled. Really, really appreciate that fragrance. That one was at one point, believe it or not, underrated. And then Mark's, what was it? Robes '08, I think, right? Mark up in Canada. Remember when I think he still does reviews. He did a few reviews on those, and then after that it seemed to take off. So we will remove the label of underrated, and we will just say it is the Apple Champion. So number 7, wow, I mean, you want to talk about heavy hitters. Number 7 is Saffron. And my honorable mention for that one is Boss Bottled Oud. And that one is one that I mentioned before, as it is a love or hate. It's a hit or miss. And another reviewer who sadly passed away last year, I think it was Carlos in New York. You guys probably watched Redolescence and Carlos reviews a lot, and so I'm sad to say that he passed away. He, in one of his episodes, he walked around where he worked and he sprayed that fragrance and asked women to give their thoughts on it, their impressions, and it was so 50-50, right? It was so split, because it was either this is from the heavens, this is from the gods, this is fantastic, or it was this is potpourri, get it out of my house. I don't want my man smelling like this. I think one woman said he'll end up on the couch if he wears something like this, etc. So obviously I'm in the camp of I love it, but I put it as my honorable mention just because, again, some people love it and some people really don't. So my pick for Saffron, though, has to be Prada Amber. And my only complaint about this fragrance is that it has like 4 names to it. So Prada Amber, Prada Man, Prada, the devil killed Prada, the devil killed Amber, the devil killed a man who wore amber, who named Amber. I don't know. Okay, you know the one I'm talking about, the one that smells like luxurious soap, and you can see the picture anyway. This is another one that I have had multiple bottles of. Don't let this be relegated simply to the luxurious hotel soap fragrance, because it is much more than that. It does smell like soap, but it has leather in it, and clearly it has saffron. This one is a divine fragrance, and I do not currently have it in my collection. I've gone through multiple bottles, but I always know I really like a fragrance when I'm out and it's been a while and I still miss that fragrance. So perhaps it is time to get a backup bottle. Number 6 is another great note, which is nutmeg. Oftentimes I find that nutmeg complements a fragrance and perhaps doesn't dominate the fragrance. For my honorable mention is actually the one that I think of, though, when I think immediately of nutmeg. It's just that the longevity is not what I want, and that is Vera Wang for Men. That's another cheapie that is just fantastic. And when I think of a nutmeg-based fragrance, I think of Vera Wang for Men. It is another one that merits much more attention. I just wish the longevity were better. It is more of a 4 to 6 hour fragrance, closer to 4. Yes, I know I could just reapply, or I could just spray the hell out of my clothes, but and again, for 20 to 30 bucks, what do you expect? But the actual smell itself is sublime. So that's my honorable mention. Now, the champion for nutmeg, interesting, because this is another identity complex with the name, is Colonia Mirra by Acqua di Parma. So it looks like Colonia Mirra, Mirra, which is myrrh. And so, of course, I have it down here anyway. Acqua di Parma. This one is one that could be in multiple categories. It is just very complex. Obviously, nutmeg is not the dominant note. It's called myrrh, but it definitely is the champion here for me in this category, because I just love everything about this one. Talk about sophisticated. That is this fragrance. Okay, so for number 5, I have ginger. And I'm so indecisive because I like ginger that I actually have 2 for each category. I just couldn't decide. I'm going to start off with my honorable mentions. I have 2 because one I love, but you can almost not find it anymore. And that one is Mojito in a Bottle, Armani Code Sport Athlete. So you might say, you mean Code Sport? No, I mean Armani Code Sport Athlete will always be dear to me because that was my first video that took off. So I really appreciate your support in watching that video. I think it was my first or second one that I ever did. And so if you want to see how I have grown in my delivery or not, you can always check out that one from 4 years ago. So that is Armani Code Sport Athlete. Another one, though, is Dior Homme Sport 2012. I don't like the cosmetic note in Dior Homme. I don't want to smell like a cosmetic note. I don't want to smell like makeup. Don't like it. But I really like Dior Homme Sport, especially the 2012 version. The cosmetic note is turned down and the ginger is amped up. I love that one as a post-gym, especially in the afternoon, right? So if you are the type of person that goes to work, then you hit the gym, then you're going to go out for a happy hour or a date or both, then that would be perfect for an after-workout fragrance and then something social. It's light, it's fun, it's fresh, perfect for hotter climates, just excellent. And then the tie that I have for Champion is one of them. When I think of ginger, I think of L'Homme by YSL. You know it, and I know it, though. The longevity is not what we need. So I felt like it couldn't be the outright winner. I really liked it. I really like that fragrance. L'Homme is a great fragrance. They hit a home run. The ginger is exquisite. It is. It just doesn't last long enough for me. So I'm going to do a tie with the One Parfum by Dolce & Gabbana. So that is a tie. I probably associate L'Homme more with ginger, but I felt like a tie was merited here. So that is number 5, and that is ginger. So number 4 is the only thing about number 4 that was difficult is the actual note and how to pronounce it. So how do you say this note? So do you say cumin or cumin? So I say cumin, but I hear cumin all the time. So what do you say? And I would say, if you say cumin, do you say human? I don't think you do. I think you say human. So why do you say cumin? I don't know. Cumin is the note. And I mean, do I even have to say the winner? I mean, I'll give you the honorable mention, but I mean, does there even have to be? Okay. So the honorable mention is Overture Man by Amouage. I recently reviewed that, and I gave it a 5 out of 5. I really liked Overture Man. I really appreciate that fragrance a lot. It was a sample sent in to me from Ramsey, and I reviewed a few of those Amouages. That was one of them. 5 out of 5. Really appreciate that fragrance. Honorable mention. Now, so the winner for Cumin has to be, of course, yep, it's not Destiny, it's Fate. Correct. Fate Man by Amouage. In fact, I would hope that would be the top pick for Cumin for practically all reviewers. So that one is one. I don't care for this note. I really don't. It smells to me oftentimes like BO, and so I find this, I love it in food, but as far as this note being dominant in a fragrance, it can oftentimes it does not work for me, and it's off-putting. That's the word I was looking for. And it ends up smelling like BO, at least on my skin. Don't care for it. The one exception, though, is Fate Man is outstanding, bold, brash, and if you like gourmands, if you like warm spices, look no further, especially if you like cumin. Okay, so number 3. Now we get into the top 3, I guess. The final 3, I should say. Number 3 is cloves. Okay, so if I say cloves, you better know the winner for that one. The honorable mention actually is a fougere, which is Bracken Man by Amouage. It is a fougere, which is French for fern, so it's going to smell fern-like, but it does have cloves in it. And I really liked Beach Hut Man and Bracken Man a lot. And I remember I mentioned this before, but right before I reviewed those, there was a lot of hate right in the community about those two fragrances. I don't see it. I love both of those fragrances. Bracken Man is my honorable mention, and then my top pick, of course, for cloves. Come on. Acqua di Gio. No, I'm kidding. Just making sure you're listening. It is Custom National pour homme. It must be Custom National pour homme. The hipster pick. It's the one that people said smells like movie theater popcorn and cigarettes mixed. And it oddly kind of does. But all jokes aside, I really appreciate that one. Man, have I seared through that bottle. No buyer's remorse there, because that was one that I asked people about some notes, including cloves and cinnamon, and they all pointed to that fragrance. And I bought it as a blind buy. Love it. I will be buying that one again, and I'm looking for the Parfum, which of course is not sold in the US. Number 2 is cinnamon. And number 2 came relatively easy for me, and I'm surprised because cinnamon is probably my favorite note on this list. Cinnamon works fantastic on my skin, really blends well, and I like it. So number 2 would be HIM. So this one is the Hanemori, which is the it looks like HM, but it has an I in between. Remember HM came out, so Hanemori, and everyone said it's unisex. It's not for men, even though I think it's HM for men, but they said it's unisex. So they came out with this robust, it has like the cap is like the end of a Japanese sword. So it's like really to hit home, like, this is for a man, right? And it's called Him. So it has HM with the I in the middle. And that one is another one that is a dry wood with a very sweet quality to it. Just love that fragrance. And it has cinnamon in it, of course. And it's my honorable mention for cinnamon. Now, the top pick is the one that I have smelled before, and I will finally be getting a bottle quite soon, and that is none other than Jaipur pour homme. That one, of course, Jaipur is a city in India, so it's associated already with the notion of warm spices, and on top of it, specifically cinnamon. It's not the only warm spice, but that's the one that abounds. And so when I think of a cinnamon fragrance, I think of Jaipur even more than Custom National. Custom National really is, people always call it a cinnamon bomb. It really is a clove / cinnamon / and then what is it, like a mandarin? I can't remember there's a citrus note in there as well, but you get my point. Jaipur is my top pick for cinnamon. Number 1 is Cardamom. And my honorable mention, I'm so happy that I got this one in here, because just like Nautica Voyage, it is an underrated fragrance. Just like Mandarina Duck, we have a lot of underrated fragrances here that are making this list, and I'm so happy. This is no exception. Honorable mention goes to Hypnose, I guess it would be, you wouldn't pronounce the H in French. Hypnose by Lancôme. And so this is the one with the twisted bottle. And this is another one that is perfect for gift giving. I don't see too many people outright disliking this one. It is a very well blended fragrance, and it's another one that could easily be doubled in price, and it would still sell, perhaps even more, actually. I think sometimes, very rarely, these companies actually sell themselves short. Literally, and Nautica Voyage is one of them. This one is a cheapie. It can be had for around $30 for a 100 milliliter, 3.4 ounce. That's a shame. I think it should be at least a $100 bill. So that's just me, but and we'll just keep that between me and you, and I will not contact Lancôme or take any sponsorship from them, I promise. My top pick for Cardamom has to be Déclaration. Déclaration by Cartier, or it looks like Declaration. Declaration by Cartier is I can't figure out if I like Declaration or Déclaration more than Déclaration du Soir. So Déclaration, of course, as I said, means declaration, and then the flanker is Déclaration du Soir. Du Soir means afternoon or evening in French, and so this is, the obviously it's the going out version of that one. That one is another one that is just fantastic. If you want a compliment getter, Déclaration du Soir is one of them. You will get unsolicited compliments from that one. Speaking of which, my scent of the day is today none other than Uomo by Salvatore Ferragamo. And I have to tell you, yesterday was my first full day wearing it. And it was a long day for me. I have a 12-hour shift and that day, yesterday. And I put it on about an hour before I left, worked, and then on my way back, so that'd be about 14 hours later, I could still easily smell it on my wrists, on my neck, emanating on my clothes, of course, my collar. And so, wow, talk about beast mode. That one is the tiramisu one, and I could not love it more, and I will be doing a full review on that fragrance. But that one is another one that's going to get a lot of unsolicited compliments, especially from the ladies. All right, so folks, what do you think of this list? Let me know, were there some things that surprised you? What is something that you could have predicted? What do you feel are your choices for these particular spices? Let us know if you say cumin or cumin, or let us know what your scent of the day is. I always enjoy checking that out as well. Always feel free to let me know how I can improve the channel. And always remember, fragrance marks the celebration of today. Take care, everybody. So here's the way I see about Le Male, okay? Le Male is to fragrances what Blair Witch Project is to horror films, okay? You don't have to like that film, but you at least have to give it the respect it deserves for bringing back and reviving the horror film genre. I actually hate the movie. I don't like it a lot. I love horror films. Blair Witch Project, I found it boring. I found it annoying, but I do give it the respect it deserves. And I would hope that you would do the same thing with Le Male.